then we got the number one seed OKC, which is gonna go against Memphis. We might as
Memphis.
well
Yeah.
start with that, right?
Let's start with 1-8. Yeah. OKC
So
Memphis.
what do you think, man?
Okay. My prediction for this series, I would say OKC 4-1.
You think it's gonna be 5 games? I think
It's
it's
gonna be
gonna be
5.
5 games
Yeah,
as well.
they'll give Memphis one. Ja Morant's gonna explode, and then But other than that, I don't think Memphis has any answer for SGA. Plus,
I don't think a lot of teams has
they don't.
answers for this.
Yeah, and also they don't have aside from Ja Morant, they don't have as much weapons to to counter the defense of OKC. Like Luke Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Hartenstein.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. Yeah,
Alex.
that's a solid defensive team.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think
think
they're
they're
gonna
gonna have
get.
an answer for that.
They were shooting well last night against Dallas,
Yeah,
but
against Dallas.
defense
Yeah.
was championship Dallas, aka. But they couldn't. They I don't think they're gonna have the same success with that OKC team. Ja Morant actually, I don't know if
Yeah.
you watched that Dallas Golden State playing game.
Mm-hmm.
So Ja left the game. Ja tweaked his ankle. I think he was coming off a layup or a jump
Yeah.
shot or something like that, and he landed awkwardly. He
Right.
twisted his own ankle,
Mm-hmm.
and he was 7 out of 24 against Dallas
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know how effective.
The only other solid players, I mean offensive players for Memphis are Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson.
Yeah,
Mm.
and here's the thing: Jaren Jackson is very foul prone.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna
Yeah.
foul a lot,
Yep.
and OKC will get the whistle.
Yep.
SGA will get a whistle. So you gotta question the fact that you got Jared Jackson in there who's gonna be fouling a lot. You have Zach Edey who's essentially he's the tall guy,
Yeah.
but he's slow. You
Yep.
gotta question how he's gonna defend OKC when Chet becomes center for some
Yeah.
reason.
Right.
Right? It's gonna be a question of how you're gonna do
Yeah.
that. So
And I
yeah,
don't think, yeah, I think Scottie Pippen Jr., who started against Dallas, yeah, I don't think he's, he doesn't. I mean,
nah. I mean, he
against
did a
SGA,
decent job.
yeah,
I would say he did
yeah,
a decent job on Curry.
yeah,
But Curry's Curry, and
Curry's
that's
Curry, yeah,
essentially how they got past Memphis in the first
hmm
place. Curry just went hot in the fourth. That was it.
yeah,
I like Scottie Pippen. I wish he was still
yeah,
with the Lakers, by the way. But
yeah,
it's just I think it's serious in five.
mhm,
Probably Memphis gonna get one at home, and then
yeah, one at
OKC's
home,
gonna fish up quick.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So the 2-7 matchup.
Moving
This is
on, two
probably
seven.
probably one of my favorite matchups here in
Houston
this
Golden
year.
State. Oof.
Houston
Yeah,
Golden State. Okay.
yeah.
What do you got here?
So yeah, first thing we want to look at in this series is how effective is going to be the defense on Steph Curry. How is Houston going to play? I mean, I'm pretty sure Houston's going to play physical on him
Mm.
as they've always done. Houston's two big men, two big lineup against this what makes it excite. What makes it exciting? Houston's two big lineup against the Warriors playing small ball.
Yeah. So the Rockets have a very tricky lineup for Golden State. And remember
Mhm.
that last game that they had, that was it, right? They beat the Warriors. They
Right.
played Curry very physically.
Mhm.
Some would say they were kind of testing the limits of what the calls were gonna be,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
We don't know how
Mhm.
the whistles are gonna be for each game.
Mhm.
So we'll see how Golden State is going to deal with that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to see with this matchup is, it's probably Dylan Brooks is going to be on Curry. I would say,
Oh yeah.
right, and
Mhm.
then that's a guy who's going to be grabbing a lot of fouls as well and might
Right.
get texts. And him
Mhm.
and Draymond will be key for the defenses of this
The
team. And
war within a war.
there's going
Yeah,
to be
they're
some
gonna get into each
physicality in
other's
there.
heads.
So we got to see how they will keep their tempers in check. Number
Right.
one, and how they would contribute because Draymond is the engine of that team.
Right.
Okay, so Curry's gonna be Curry, right?
Yeah.
But if Draymond isn't there, I don't know how this small ball lineup's gonna work,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Mhm.
gonna be interesting to see how the Rockets will stop the 3-point shooting of
Yeah.
the Warriors.
Hmm.
They got a lot of shooters in that team, and
Hmm.
how they would implement their own scoring because they're not a good scoring team, right?
Right.
Our Kababayan Jalen Green, as
Yeah.
good as he is going to be his first playoff series, as with a lot of
It's
these
yeah.
Rockets,
It's a case of youth against championship experience. I think
right?
the Rockets are a team that's hungry. They're not. They're not the type of team that's that's oh you gotta wait your turn. They want it now, so they're hungry.
Right. So, but I mean, Ime Udoka has shown to be a great coach.
Right.
Um, hey man, he pulled Nia Long. I would root for that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ime Udoka pulled Nia Long. I'll just run and reiterate that. Okay,
Yeah.
Nia Long. That's Nia Long. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But seriously, it's just I think he's a good coach, and
Uh-huh.
he showed that with the Leprechauns. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I have confidence that that won't be experience won't be much of an issue in this game. I think it's still going to be affecting the team, but
Mhm.
if there's anyone who can right the ship in that case, it's going to be Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the X factors. Who do we think are going to be the X factors
Ooh,
for each squad?
Pods. Yeah.
Pods, man,
Yeah.
he killed the
Pods.
Lakers, right?
Pods
So
and Kuminga actually.
right, and that's the thing. Jonathan Kuminga has been a DNP the last two games.
Yeah.
They could
Yeah.
really use him this
Yeah.
series, right?
Right.
We know the physicality of the Rockets. We know how they're gonna try to lock up Jimmy and
Yeah.
stuff really.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's up to the other guys to make shots. And
Right.
Pods has shown he can score,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? Kuminga's shown he can score. So it's really up to those guys to see how they're gonna be able to contribute in
Yeah.
such a way.
Someone who I want to see, one of my favorite shooters, I want to see him, have a good game in this series is Buddy Hield.
Oh man,
Like,
is playoff buddy gonna make an appearance?
yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I look, man. Did you see that comparison? So they ran a play. I don't know if you watched
Yeah,
the
they ran that last play against the Clippers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they I just don't trust Buddy, man.
Yeah.
I like him, right? But
Yeah.
Buddy's very one dimensional. He's very streaky.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if he's gonna be. I
Yeah.
I think look, I think here's what I think. I think Clay should have stayed in Golden State,
Mm.
or went to the Lakers. It's really those
Or
two
went to
teams,
the Lakers, yeah.
right? But Buddy Hield is just not the guy, man. I'm
Yeah.
just he's just nah.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Warriors need him. The Warriors need him to space the floor
Yeah.
against this team, but
Yeah.
I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Uh,
So, what do we think about this series? It's
Um,
2 versus 7, but this is Golden State we're talking about
I
here.
will go out on a limb and call Warriors in 6.
What? Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna go Warriors in 6 over this. Okay.
Warriors in 6.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So take note. Whoever wins this will be facing the Lakers next.
Lakers.
If the Lakers get it, we're gonna
Yeah.
discuss
I
that a
don't
bit.
want it to happen.
Okay, so
I
you
want
think
Houston-
Warriors in 6? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking Houston in 6.
Houston in 6. Mm.
I was thinking Houston in 6. I think this is the playoffs. They're not gonna give you that kind of whistle in the playoffs.
Right.
Which means that the Rockets are gonna get away with a lot of calls.
Close, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and that's gonna be to their advantage.
Although I do want to see the Rockets Lakers series, just because I want to see how LeBron responds to Dylan Brooks this time.
I think from a matchup perspective, I would prefer to face the Rockets rather than the Warriors,
Mm.
just because of the fact that the Lakers have traditionally destroyed the Warriors, but they had a 80 there
Yeah,
to
they had
punish their
80,
small
yeah.
ball lineup.
Right.
That's not that's not going to be the case here.
Mhm.
I think the Warriors have the defenders to go against the Lakers, but what, let's talk about that when it happens. I prefer the Rockets. I think they're
Rockets.
going to
Yeah.
beat the Warriors 6 games. That's for me.
It's
That's
reasonable.
the
Yeah.
Houston in 6. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Uh, you want to go to 4-5 or do you want to go to? Let's leave the Lakers
Uh,
for last. Let's go
let's
to.
save Lakers for last. Let's do Denver and the Clippers.
Okay, I think this
Woo!
is probably the most exciting matchup in the first
In the
round
first round,
in
yeah.
in its entirety.
Hmm.
Denver versus the Clippers. What
Mm.
do we think?
Hmm. Okay. First factor. First question we want to ask is which Russell Westbrook is going to show up for Denver?
Yo, there was this stretch where Westbrook really just cost them, right? That's the
Yeah.
reason why they're in this position to begin
You're
with,
right. Hmm.
right? Look, I love Russ. Okay,
Yeah.
let me go out on a limb to say I love Russ. I loved
Yeah.
him in OKC.
Hmm.
Right when he was on, the
When he
fucker
was
was
on.
just on.
Yeah.
Okay, he has one of my favorite 3-point celebrations of all time. Remember, he used to do the holsters.
Yeah.
We used to do the holsters like that, and then
Yeah.
he used to do that. Yeah, I don't know why he stopped doing that. That was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite ones
Uh-huh.
in history. Um, but yeah, Russell has cost him a lot of games, and but the same
Yeah.
thing with the Clippers.
Hmm.
He
Oh
cost the
yeah. Yeah.
Clippers a lot of games too. He's gonna
Yeah.
go
Right.
back to LA for this one.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I
Interesting
agree.
matchup also, huh?
But yeah, I was saying I agree that Westbrook's gonna be a factor in
Mhm.
this. If
Mhm.
however, whichever one shows up, but
Right.
I do have confidence in their coaching staff that they will
Mhm.
bench Russ when necessary.
Yeah, when
So
necessary.
yeah, hopefully for the Nuggets,
Yeah.
he doesn't get a lot of shots up.
Right.
You were saying something?
Yeah, the interesting matchup would be Jokic against Zubac. We'll see what happens with that too.
Zupac is in the house. He's been
Yep.
great, man. He's been great for them. I
Yeah.
think that was probably Magic's dumbest move, trading Zubats for nothing, really.
Gosh, yeah.
Mike Muscala, man, what the fuck, man? But Magic, you're amazing, but
Bro,
what the
like
fuck did you make that deal,
yeah. We had Zubac for a time and he was on the rise. He was already giving us good games.
bro? Whenever they gave him minutes, he was producing. We
He was
already knew that
producing.
that was going to be the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
He was good. Look, he's been great in the pick and roll for the Clippers,
Mhm.
and he would have been great for the pick and roll if that was the Lakers.
With
Right?
Lonzo, yeah.
I mean, look, man, I don't want to think about it too much, but yeah,
Yeah.
obviously Zubats has turned
Save that
into a
for
great.
another what if episode.
No,
Yeah.
let's do that. What if they had it?
The young ones of 2017, 2018.
Let's do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
we
waiting to
kept
do
that
that.
core.
Let's do that. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, Jokic is gonna be Jokic, right? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I mean, he actually averaged a triple double this year.
He did.
Yeah, and he had that monster 60
Right.
point game that Westbrook blew. He had a 60-point triple double game. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He should be MVP in my opinion, okay? But he's not gonna get it. I think SGA is gonna get that award.
SJ's gonna get it. Yeah.
But hey, it's gonna be crucial how Zubats will fit into this because
Mm.
it's gonna be hard for him to guard Jokic number one because
Right.
of how space Jokic, how much space Jokic commands.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the Clippers need Zubats to keep Jokic decent
Good,
on
yeah.
the defensive end.
Right.
That pick and roll has to be working, right?
Right.
And he's also a good rebounder as well. So he has to be able to stay on the floor.
Yeah.
Now we got a question when it comes to the Clippers. The biggest question mark has always been the health of Kawhi Leonard, but he's been healthy.
The health-
I
How healthy is Fun Guy gonna be?
man, that's gonna be the question for them, right? So
Yeah.
the last postseason that they had, he was just gone, really.
Yeah.
But he looked healthy. He looked great. He was looking great, and that's the reason why the Clippers are even in this position right now.
Yeah.
Fun guy is healthy, man.
Yeah.
Whatever they did worked. Whatever they did worked. If he can keep this up,
Yeah.
Clippers are gonna be the sleeper, right here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, they have a chance to
Right.
go to the conference finals. To be honest with you, I think
Right.
with this track
Yeah.
they're on, it's gonna be a great matchup. If they beat Denver, end up facing OKC, that's not gonna be an easy game for
Right.
easy
Yeah.
series for OKC. But
X factors. Also, you mentioned Aaron Gordon and Norman Powell.
right, so obviously Aaron Gordon is gonna whoever. Here's the thing, so Aaron Gordon or Zubats is gonna be guarding one of those two guys.
Right.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's gonna be Jokic,
Yeah.
but who's gonna be able? They have to cover Gordon as well because he's
That's
shown to have the shot.
Derek
You know,
Jones. He's long. He's tall. Yeah.
but he's thin, man.
He's
That's the
thin.
thing. That's
Yeah.
Gordon can overpower him easy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky for the Clippers how they would
Yeah.
defend this.
Yeah.
Um,
I think another X factor for the Nuggets would be if Christian Brown is hitting his shots.
that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So Christian Bond is essentially their KCP at this point.
Mhm.
That's their KCP replacement.
Yep.
So if he can provide that 3-and-D,
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's probably going to be guarding a lot of
Yeah.
Kawhi now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think. What do you think? I mean, this is going to be probably one of the closest series that
This is
in the first round.
I will.
Who you got?
I will say this series is gonna go to full 7,
Mm.
and at the end of the day, I think the Nuggets are gonna.
Okay, right. I
Yeah.
also think it's going to go the full 7,
Yeah.
but I think the Clippers take it.
The
this time.
Clippers are gonna.
I think the Clippers are going to
okay.
take it. I think the Clippers are going to take it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is that the Nuggets role players are gonna have an off night one night, and then the Clippers are just gonna pounce.
They're gonna pounce, yeah.
Remember, the Nuggets fired Mike Malone. They have a
Yeah.
new coach, David Adelman, I believe. Right. So I think that's gonna be a factor.
Yep.
Ty Lue's gonna be able to out coach
Right.
the Denver Nuggets, and
Oh,
they're gonna pull it off.
outcoach. Definitely, Ty Lue's gonna outcoach because Ty Lue has a ring.
Right.
Ty Lue has a
I
ring.
think it's gonna be Clippers in 7 for this one. I'm gonna take that.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. Obviously,
Yeah,
this
sure.
is our team now. It's gonna be fun.
we go.
Minnesota and the Lakers. They're actually gonna be playing in a couple hours.
Yes.
Game 1.
What happens?
And okay, what do you think about this? This is gonna be
So I mean, really, the one thing that we really have to, if we want to make this a series where we dominate, it's all about containing Anthony Edwards. You know,
Yep.
Anthony Edwards, on the other hand, if he wants to, if Minnesota wants to pull something off, he has to he has to be great. He has to be locked in, you know, have that, have that playoff mode or whatever you call it, playoff.
essentially he has to show. You know the memes last year with him. He has to show that he's the missing son of Jordan.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
so that's what he needs to do. I mean, bar none, the Wolves are not going anywhere if
We're not
Anthony
going-
Edwards does not show up.
yeah.
That's clear.
Just how it is, you know.
Yep.
Other than that, you know, they're short at the point guard spot. The only, pretty much, you mentioned the only playmaker is Mike Conley.
Mike Conley. Yep.
Yes,
And he's what 6'1" and old.
one, and he's gonna. Luca's. I mean, Luca's really not known for his defense, but it's I don't know. I don't think you know he's. I don't think he's gonna outplay Luca.
Yeah.
You know,
The trouble from Minnesota side is on defense, really, because
yeah,
as you said, Conley's the only playmaker that they have
Yep.
apart from Matt. Okay, so apart from Matt, but Conley's still someone who sets the table for them.
right.
He has to be on the floor at all times. So
Right.
you got to ask who's he's guarding.
Yeah,
All right, so you have Luca, you have LeBron, you have Austin. Those are the
Austin.
three guys that essentially you need to guard from a playmaker perspective.
Right.
Jaden McDaniels would probably cover LeBron. It's either
Right.
him or Luca,
Alexander Walker.
right? So
Yep.
Alexander Walker off the bench, yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But Jaden McDaniels is starting. He's gonna be covering either. I'm guessing Jaden McDaniels starts on LeBron and
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards starts on Luca.
Yep.
And from a defensive point of view, that means that Conley's gonna end up with Austin,
Right.
which is, I mean, that's the Austin. Okay,
Yeah.
so the question now becomes, on if you're Minnesota, how are you gonna exploit the Lakers' weakness now? Right. So you have to be able to make sure to keep Luka involved in the defense.
Right.
To make sure that Austin has to also be involved in defensive actions,
Yeah.
because they're horrible
And
defensive players.
yeah, and, the one thing I think, the one silver lining they have on defense is Rudy Gobert. But the question is, again, is he gonna, is he gonna protect the rim? Because knowing how the Lakers play, they're gonna adjust, and we can hit shots.
I think I think the Lakers are gonna play a lot of small ball in the series.
A lot of
They're gonna
small.
try to they're gonna try to take Gobert off the floor. Really,
Probably play Vando at center or Rui at
yeah.
center. Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of Vando and Rui at center in this series. I'm guessing too. It really just stretches the defense of the
Yeah.
of the Wolves, right? But I mean, look, they're no slouch either.
Yeah.
They
They're
have a
not.
lot of shooters on their team as well. They can go small. I think if
Right.
there's anyone that can go small, it's probably gonna be this team as well, right? They have a lot of shooters. They got Dante, really
Naz-
really good,
Oh,
right?
DiVincenzo. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Alexander Walker, which you've mentioned, right? You got Naz Reid. You can
Nazarene.
use as a small ball center. He's been historically good against the Lakers,
Yeah.
and he's essentially what you want Rui to be.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big X factor for the Wolves, really. If
The Wolves,
Naz Reid
yeah.
can get his points and make sure that to punish the Lakers bench, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And for the Lakers, we kind of mentioned it already. Austin has to.
Yeah.
Luca and LeBron are gonna bring it, right? So
Yeah.
but there's a scenario where they get locked up, and
Yeah.
Austin has to be able to carry the offense,
Yeah.
which he's shown.
I
be
have
able to
faith that he can do. That Austin can.
Do. He should be. He should.
Austin lives for the big moments. He lives
He's
for
him,
big.
Austin. You're him.
You're
You're him, Austin. I think he can do it. I think he can definitely do it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a matter of here. The Lakers shooters have to show up as well. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Gabe playing really well at the end of the season.
Right.
We saw DFS playing
DFS,
well at the
yeah.
end of the season. Been locked down. He's been essentially. We mentioned this. DFS is the new KCP.
Right.
He's been showing that. So if they are good, then this should be a quick
Yeah.
series. Now, with that being said, what do we think
Oof. Yeah.
is going to happen here? So the series starts tonight in Los Angeles. What do we got here? What is our official prediction for the
Lakers
Minnesota versus Lakers?
in five.
Lakers at 5.
Yeah. Lakers. in
Lakers.
five.
I wish I had the Shannon Sharp rhyme scheme going on, but I agree. It's gonna be Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Okay, so they the second round's gonna be interesting for this. But if the Lakers can, I think the key for the Lakers as well in this postseason run is if they can keep the series short,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good for them given LeBron's age.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
that's the West, really.